Hi everyone. Today I wanted to talk about a 1938 comedy. This is Bluebeard's Eighth Wife, Kino Lorber release. It's directed by Ernst Lubitsch. It stars Gary Cooper, Claudette Colbert, and the screenplay is written by Charles Brackett and Billy Wilder. So we've got some A-list talent on this film, to be sure. And this was the first collaboration of Wilder and Brackett. They were assigned. Billy Wilder got called into the office one day and said, "You're going to be working with Charles Brackett, who was basically a novelist. He cared a great deal about structure, and Wilder was known as a gag man, an ideas man. He had very creative, and they made a very good team, and they remained a team through Wilder's directorial debut and all the way up to Sunset Boulevard in, I believe that was 1950. And along with on this disc, there's a really good commentary by Kat Ellinger. I also consulted a little bit of a book that my library happened to have, How Did Lubitsch Do It by Joseph McBride. And that opening is from Trouble in Paradise, I believe. Herbert Marshall, Kay Francis, and Miriam Hopkins. How did Lubitsch do it? This is it comes from a quote. Billy Wilder had a sign in his office saying, "How would Lubitsch do it?" All through his career, that he consulted that sign every day when he walked into his office. Billy Wilder did. And Lubitsch movies have to have a meet cute opening, and this one has a classic meet cute opening where Gary Cooper, playing a millionaire American on vacation in a make-believe French Riviera, goes into a department store, wants to buy pajamas, but he only wants to buy the tops, and he refuses to pay the full price. He wants the price halved, which puts the management at this department store in a frenzy, and they go from the salesman to the floor walker to the department manager to the vice president, and then they call up the owner of the department store, who is still in bed, and he is outraged. He said, "Of course not. There's no way we can sell just the tops and sell it at half price." And then you see him get out of bed, and he, in fact, is wearing only tops to his pajamas, which is a real, it sounds like a Billy Wilder gag, but it might have been Lubitsch himself. And but overall, I would have to say, after this really sparkling opening, which actually does end with Claudette Colbert, amused by this dilemma, offers to buy the bottoms. But then she doesn't have a husband, she doesn't have a boyfriend. There's all kinds of sexual innuendos that Lubitsch and his screenwriters, work very assiduously at trying to get past the censors. And then the romance develops, and it's sort of a screwball comedy. Kat Ellinger argues very much that it's a screwball comedy, and Lubitsch was not really known as a screwball comedy director. But whatever it is, it probably doesn't work. It's not top tier Lubitsch. It's not top tier Gary Cooper, I don't think, but it may be top tier Colbert. She was very funny in this movie, and so they decide to get married. And right before they get married, Cooper tells her of his 7 previous wives that obviously absolutely floors her, and she doesn't want to get married, but family pressures, money. Finally, she agrees to get married, but with a prenup. And then the comedy becomes a comedy of sexual frustration because it does not get consummated. Cooper, a bit miscast in the sense that he's playing a kind of mean character, like a spoiled brat, and he just came off of his huge success with Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, He doesn't really look all that handsome in that. And he was at the height of his handsome. Almost looks, I mean, to my eyes at least, like he's a bit hungover in some of these scenes. Um, I'm not sure he was very comfortable with playing this part. And she tries to wear him down. There's, as always in these kind of studio films, there's all kinds of terrific actors along the way, and Edward Everett Horton playing Claudette Colbert's father, penniless, about to be thrown out of his hotel by Franklin Pangborn, another great supporting player in Hollywood studio days. There's also another actor, Warren Heimer, and he comes by for a short scene, very familiar looking actor. And this is really the other good, really comical, kind of classic type scene, bedroom farce, where Claudette Colbert, Cooper thinks he's setting her up, but she's really setting him up with David Niven. David Niven is playing Gary Cooper's secretary, and but he has amorous eyes on Claudette Colbert. There's all kind of confusion that develops, and Warren Heimer, an ex-boxer, who knocks out David Niven, thinking he's knocking out Claudette Colbert's husband. And Warren Heimer, there's a legend around Warren Heimer in that when he was making a picture at Columbia Studios, he arrived on the set drunk, and Harry Cohn, the head of Columbia Studios, had him thrown off the set, or thrown off the lot. And before they could do that, Heimer ran up to Harry Cohn's office. Harry Cohn wasn't there, and according to this legend, Warren Heimer urinated on Harry Cohn's desk. Something probably almost every Hollywood star might have wanted to do. And then Heimer's career was sort of, I don't know if he was blacklisted, but he never really got very prominent roles after that. So nobody was much happy with the results of Bluebeard's Eighth Wife. Charlie Brackett said later on that nothing in it really worked. The only thing that he remembered fondly was working with Lubitsch. Everybody wanted to work with Lubitsch, and Brackett and Wilder would follow with their great script for Ninotchka for Ernst Lubitsch, and also they would write Midnight, another fantastic script that they wrote for Mitchell Lyson that Claudette Colbert starred in. And I enjoyed the movie, though. I mean, it especially for Colbert. If you're a Claudette Colbert fan, this is a must-see. And of course, she's costumed by Travis Benton, and I mean, it's just amazing what that man and his assistants came up with, because she just looks in scene after scene after scene. They're just absolutely gorgeous costumes, and that what is that, about 80 years ago, that kind of clothing could be so sensational even today. And of course, we get the whole Paramount set design. In Lubitsch films, the set design on Paramount, even though things sparkled, they were far more spare than, say, Midnight was for Mitchell Lyson. Lyson loved very ornate sets with lots of stuff everywhere you looked. And Lubitsch, although they're beautiful sets and they're kind of minimalist, though, kind of an interesting contrast in style between these two directors. So overall, this was a movie that I enjoyed. It's not top tier, but I would say for Claudette Colbert fans, it's definitely is a must-see. Okay, thanks as always for everybody who managed to listen to me this far. I really do appreciate it. Comments are welcome. Take care.